Let's talk about guiding principles for your business, why they're crucial for your success, and honestly, why we need them in order to actually achieve the end results that we set out to accomplish in the first place. Most of us have guiding principles for our lives, right? Things like be a person of integrity, always be honest, be a good leader, things like that. But most of us haven't taken the time to determine what the guiding principles are going to be for our business. Is the customer always right? Do we want to keep it simple? Are we going above and beyond in everything that we do? Most of us could probably come up with our guiding principles or with several guiding principles for our business within about 15 minutes, but most of us don't. But in not doing that thing that would take us about 15 minutes to do, a lot of times we are setting ourselves up for failure. Because so many of us start our businesses with an end goal in mind, right? I want to be able to leave the classroom, or I want to be able to have extra money to take my family on vacations, or I want to not be able to have to work that summer job so that I can spend more time with my kids. Or maybe you want to send the kids off to summer camp, and that's okay too. We all start off with certain goals. And sometimes along the way, maybe we lose quality in our work, or maybe we lose sight of the thing that we're actually working towards, or we push our goal out so much farther and we make sacrifices involving the people around us that we never intended to make because we weren't following our guiding principles. And how can you follow those guiding principles if you haven't laid them out? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be sharing with you my 3 guiding principles for my business, how it has helped shape my business, and how it's made me not only a better business owner, but a better person, a better wife, a better mom, etc. So let's go ahead and dive in and let's talk about number 1. The number 1 business principle that I stick with is my kids come first. Now, I only have one kid. Her name is Blair. She's absolutely amazing. But if I didn't have this as a guiding principle, if I didn't have this as a touchstone, something that I came back to often, then my kid would not come first. I can tell you that right now. And it's not because I'm a bad mom. It's not because I'm a bad business owner. It's not because I don't manage my time well. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that we have a tendency, if we don't come back and frequently re-examine our priorities, we have a tendency to let them get out of whack. And so when it comes to my kids come first. I tend to get very ambitious. I really enjoy my job, as most TPT sellers do. We kind of thrive in this creation mode and creating resources. But it's also a lot easier a lot of times to create a product or to complete a business task than it is to sit down and play make-believe with your kids. I complete that task and it's a very simple dopamine hit for me that I feel accomplished and I feel really good about myself. However, it's not quite as easy and it takes more energy and effort on my part to get down in the floor and to play make-believe with my toddler for 30 to 40 minutes than it is for me to just quickly check a box and accomplish something inside of my business. And so this is something that I have to come back to frequently, and I have to remind myself my kids come first. Whenever I first started my TPT business, this was before I was married. I was living in a little 1-bedroom apartment, and I was teaching inside of middle school. And I remember just thinking to myself how much whenever I had kids, which again, I wasn't married, I didn't have kids, and none of that was on the horizon just yet, but I knew that it was going to be really important to me, and I really wanted to be able to stay at home with my kids whenever I had them. And I remember praying and asking God that He would allow that to be a possibility for me and for my business. And so I get a little choked up kind of thinking about it, but He did that for me and that happened. And so I, a lot of times come back to that. I think, okay, I have to honor that commitment. I have to honor that outlook that I had when I first started. That was really important to me. Why did I start this business in the first place? And a lot of times we lose sight of that why. Why is it that you right now want to have a successful business? Write it down, come back to it often, because chances are it's something that's really important and would make a huge difference in your life. And if we lose sight of those things and we lose sight of those goals, then a lot of times our business never ends up up serving its intended purpose and it just becomes something that we never wanted it to be. So we want to come back to some of those guiding principles. So the first thing is, why is it that you want to have a successful business? Why is it that you want to grow your business? And what is that going to mean for you and for your family, for you, for your friends, for you, and for your mental health, right? And so those are the things that we want to kind of establish in the beginning. The next guiding principle or guiding truth that I have for my business is I get to grow my business the way I want to grow it. And this is one that I have to come back to frequently because I look around and I'm like, oh, I should probably be doing that because that person over there is doing that. And that's what every expert says that you have to do in order to get these results. And if they're all saying that that's what I have to do to get these results, then I should probably be doing that too, even though I don't want to do it, even though I don't have time to do it, and even though that is definitely outside of my wheelhouse and not comfortable for me. Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't do things just because it's not comfortable for us. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But what we're talking about here is specifically recognizing that it's your business. You started a business so that you could have something that you were in control over rather than being controlled by somebody else, right? I don't have a contract that says I have to work so many hours or show up so many days of the week or do A, B, C, and D in order to get paid, right? Or in order to have a job next year. That's one of the perks of being a business owner. And so whenever I get tempted to get pulled off track by trying to do something that somebody else is doing or by feeling that pressure to do something different, I have to stop and remind myself, I get to grow my business the way I want to grow my business. I get to do things the way that I want to do. And maybe I do things a certain way and it's not as successful, but I did it the way that made me the most comfortable. And I did it in a way that didn't require me to sacrifice some of my other guiding principles, like spending time with my kids, okay? And so this is one of those things, and I strongly encourage you to adopt this one because it's huge. It's a game changer. Once this becomes a guiding principle for my business, every business decision that I make has to flow through that guiding principle. It has to pass this test. Does this involve growing my business the way I want to grow it? If the answer is no, then I'm not going to do it, right? And so it becomes a very freeing guided principle to live by. Let's talk about number 3. And this is also one of my favorites, and that is competition is a good thing. This is another one that I would say should be on everybody's list, but it's a hard pill to swallow. So this is a truth that I have to repeat to myself very often. I have come from small towns. I've lived where there are not very many options, where there's one hospital or there are just a couple of doctor's offices, or there's really terrible staff at this place of business, commercial place of business, right? And the only reason that they thrive and the only reason they continue to stay open is because there's no competition. But you move into a bigger area, you move into a bigger place where competition exists, and what happens? A better product comes out of it. People get better customer service. People get lower prices. People get a better product in the end, and people are happier. This is something that I have to remind myself of all the time, because in the TPT world, really in any business, but especially when you are your own business owner, when I see somebody creating a product that's like my product that I worked so hard on, it can be crushing. When people come in and they implement an idea that I had first and I was going to make that happen and they did it before me, and oh my goodness, it's so defeating and disheartening. But here's the thing. I can let that make me feel defeated. I can let that make me feel disheartened, or I can remind myself that competition is a good thing. And if I let it do its job, it will make me grow as a business owner. It will make me produce a better product. It will make me serve people better. Competition is a good thing. Now, this does not mean that when it happens to me, that I'm not going to get on the phone with my best friend and go, oh, you're not going to believe this, right? It doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to my husband and be like, oh, somebody just did that thing that I really wanted to do, right? What it means is I might have that moment, but then I'm going to go, all right, how am I going to do it better? So they did that thing. How am I going to make it better? It means that I am going to let it drive me to create a bigger and better business. But this doesn't just apply to people doing things that I wanted to do or people copying me or anything like that. This also applies to helping other people grow their businesses. I know people who don't like to participate in events with multiple sellers because they don't want to help advertise somebody else's products, or they don't want to help someone else grow their email list, or they don't want to help somebody else grow their email following because they fear that if they share some of what they have, then it's going to somehow take away from them. And it can. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I pour all of my time, energy, and effort into helping somebody else grow, that it's not going to somehow hurt my business. In fact, the other day I was talking to my dad and I was telling him about RTA. And he's like, now what is it again? I kind of told him what RTA was. And he said, are you worried that you're going to give away all of your secrets and it's going to take away money from you? And I was like, no, I'm not worried about that because I understand and I recognize that competition is a good thing. The only thing that can do is force me to be more innovative and think more outside of the box and do more and grow in other ways. And speaking of this, I want to share with you guys some of my top secrets for creating a profitable product line. Because I talk to TPT sellers all the time. And if you've listened to more than 3 podcasts or more than 3 videos from me, you've probably heard me say at some point in time that you need to be creating unique resources that meet unique needs if you want to be successful on Teachers Pay Teachers. And every time that I say that directly to a person, 9 times out of 10, the response back to me is, I don't know how to do that. I'm not very creative, or this is where I get hung up. I don't have very many good ideas. Well, I'm going to teach you how to create a profitable product line that won't fall flat, that will bring in sales, and that will bring in repeat customers. And I'm going to be doing that May 20th through the 25th inside of a free workshop for TPT sellers. It's called 5 Days to Your Next 5K Product Idea. And I am so excited to share all of it with you. Everything is going to be pre-recorded. It's going to be sent out to you 1 day at a time. And what this means is you get to watch it on your own time during that day. So you'll get it in the morning. You'll have all day to watch it. You're going to follow through the 5-day plan. And at the end, you're going to come out with an incredible product idea that you can implement inside of your business to help you grow your business. And this is absolutely free. You can get more information about this inside of the description. And I cannot wait to see you there. Thanks so much for listening today. I will see you in the next video.